I'm a fan of The Boys. It's a comic book adaptation that actually is like surprisingly better than the comic book, as people claim. I really liked the first season. The second season was like, not as good, and the third season was nowhere near as good. I hope that the fourth season actually brings it back. Okay, I haven't yet to watch the fourth season. From season 1 and onwards, it has objectively been anti-American military-industrial complex, anti-aesthetic liberalism. It is a very, very surprisingly good criticism of like American liberalism and all of its hangups. Obviously, one of the main characters is a man by the name of Homelander, who's supposed to like be a joke about like the stereotypical like godlike Superman character, and how they're psychopathic, how they're like a bloodless sociopath, right? He's basically Donald Trump if Donald Trump had superpowers. And what a lot of people didn't understand, I guess, what a lot of right-wingers didn't understand was that Homelander's a bad guy. And actually the entire show is making fun of conservatives and also making fun of even liberals. And yet, for some weird reason, only this season are right-wingers starting to finally recognize that the show is making fun of them. How do they get the season from knowing that Holy dates a Nazi? I don't know. Now, the reason why I like the show specifically is for the reasons that I mentioned. But beyond that, I also do love the concept. This is why I like Invincible as well. The concept of like hyper realism in a superhero universe. Just in general, because like Invincible doesn't have like anti-capitalist sentiment expressed in it, but I still like it. Why? Because I love the concept of like having godlike deity figures around us in a hyper realistic scenario. What would that look like, right? What would that actually look like? What would happen to the random individuals? Because The Boys starts off with a real human being devoid of any sort of powers, having his girlfriend get blown to pieces as A-Train basically passes through her. Like she turns into a cloud of mist, but the only things remaining being her hands that the main character is holding on to. That is very realistic, which is ironic to say. But my point is, that is what would unironically happen if there were superheroes. Like many civilians would just get murked on a daily basis, right? And those are the reasons why I am a fan.
One of the questions
of the franchise, beyond the fact that it also has like pretty solid politics. However, this is finally the season where the right wing is done with The Boys. Here's a tweet from Lauren Chen. Season 4 of The Boys is out, and unlike the previous 3 seasons, this season has been drastically underwhelming as the show's Trump derangement zeitgeist has been turned up to 11.
The Boys, and a light has gone on in the hive mind of the far right, and they've realized they're being mocked by this show. Give you an idea of the media literacy of these people. In this little video here, she said that Trump should be flattered by his comparison to Homelander because Homelander's a pretty cool guy in the show.
That's meant to be an insult to Trump, but simultaneously, like, the show portrays him, Homelander, as kind of awesome. Like, if I'm Donald Trump.
No, they don't. You're so wrong. He literally has a tit milk fetish, and he's also a racist. He is famously a racist with a titty milk fetish. He is unimaginably insecure. He is a mass murderer. Season 1 shows him doing incredibly awful things from the jump. He is perhaps the most powerful figure on the planet, and yet is simultaneously the most insecure person on the planet. What is going on? How do you watch the airplane scene and still turn around and go, that guy is so based and so sick? It is like not even subtle. I don't get it. I genuinely don't understand it. This is not like an anti-hero, okay? This is not like a cool anti-hero. Maybe it's hard for you to comprehend like what they're about. Maybe they're morally in a gray zone. No, he is very clearly in a like genuinely not subtle way first portrayed as this superhero, and very quickly, by the end of the first season, you are supposed to understand he is the villain. Even if you thought he might be the hero in the beginning, which is fine, right? They very clearly tell you, like, no, he's the bad guy. And in, like I said, in a not very subtle way. Let's take a look. Let's
Trump,
see what,
honestly, I'm not even mad at that comparison. Let's be real.
You've just realized the show where the main villain is blonde-haired, blue-eyed, basically the project of eugenics and genetic engineering by the military-industrial complex, who wears an American flag to quite literally hide behind as he commits crimes against people he sees are inferior to him, is critiquing the far right. I'm not sure what planet you've been living on. You just realized this when the villain in Season 2, Stormfront, was a literal neo-Nazi without saying it. I mean, Homelander looked like a walk in the park, and you're...
Except Stormfront does say it. She was openly a Nazi, not a neo-Nazi. Her name is Stormfront. She's not a neo-Nazi. She's a Nazi. And before you say, oh, what do you mean, Nazi? Like, was she alive during the Nazi part? Yes. Yes. That's like kind of the whole point, is that she was like an original Nazi and did not age and just kept the project going to reignite the Fourth Reich. Once again, no confusion there. Her name is Stormfront. Okay? Her name is Stormfront. She is openly a Nazi. They don't hide this at all in the show. Again, not confusing at all. Homelander is dating her. And she loves Homelander because she's like, you are the perfect Aryan project. She even mocks the what faceted that she's just rebranded her cause like a literal neo-Nazi. Yeah. There is an entire 2-minute and 45-second sequence of how stochastic happens. Okay? On The Boys Season 2, Episode 7, you watch a random guy literally get radicalized by far-right messaging online, and it shows you from point A to point Z how someone gets radicalized online and commits right-wing, fascist, stochastic. The idea that they could not see that and recognize this as like being critical, at least, of the way that they operate online, I'm talking about the far right, is so funny to me. How are you this delusional? What do you do when you are watching TV? I really think sometimes when someone is right-wing, I really think that we're like different species or something. I genuinely don't understand it. Like, this is not subtle. This is not subtext, okay? It's just pure text. What I mean by this is like, it's akin to like looking at a piece of paper that is orange and being like, that's orange. And then somebody goes, nah, that's black, dog. It's like, what are we looking at here? What, like, how have you watched this and you didn't understand anything? How? Like, when they make fun of a big mega corporation, military industrial complex like Vought, which is basically like this, you know, it has its own like news network. Fox News, by the way, is the identical news network. But like when they see Vought do like, you know, for Black History Month or whatever, we're going to put A-Train in the front. Like when they see that, do they think like they're making fun of liberals just like I make fun of liberals? Because like, I don't think conservatives make fun of liberals in that same way. I think conservatives just get mad. Like they take that shit just as seriously as liberals do, if not more seriously. It's very strange stuff overall. Very, very strange stuff. This is from like the last season. I mean, this is from this past season when like the criticism started on season 4, I guess. Eric Kripke, The Boys was always about Trumpism. The showrunner literally says he's fine losing the viewers who just figured out a social agenda. Go watch something else. I guess it's because season 4, and I wasn't aware of this, but I guess it's because season 4 directly like ties it back to the election cycle or something. I've reacted to the Critical Drinker before. He is just an out and about. Wait, is this the one that's an out and about Nazi? No, that's a different one. That's like the Rational Thinker or something. The Critical Drinker is the Scottish one, right? This is not the Fallout guy. He is an outrage farmer though. He's just like a right-wing guy. How to Destroy Your Audience from The Boys season 4. This has 1.2 million views. 1.2 million views in one day. The critics predictably loved it. The audience unfortunately hated it. I need you guys to understand something. This kind of sentiment pops the off on YouTube. Okay? Like, people get so angry when finally the subtext is, I guess, like when a change occurs, and like the subtext was never a subtext, I guess, is like so brutally bludgeoned into these brains of these dumbass charlatan right-wingers that they finally are like collectively like, oh, okay, I guess this is making fun of me. And then they just collectively look for some other old asshole that will just churn out the most bottom of the barrel right-wing nonsense. So without further ado, while I have not seen season 4, I think I'm going to watch this because I want to see.
The question that comes up pretty regularly on Open Bar these days is, Drinker, you tough-talking, charismatic gunslinger with a dark past, when are you going to review The Boys season 4? The Boys.
Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
You know, I used to be a real fan of that show, to the point where I actually gave the first season a Drinker Recommends Awards. And truly, what higher accolade can one bestow upon a work of art these days?
Wait, so you watched the first season of The Boys and you liked it, but the 4th season of The Boys you don't like. If this is purely on politics, nothing, I suspect, has changed from season 1 to season 4, because season 1 was still very much political and absolutely like outside of the boundaries of like liberal politics. Like, it was making fun of liberals and conservatives alike from a leftist position.
Anyway, at a time when the superhero genre was already becoming kind of stale and played out, The Boys came along to completely tear up the rulebook. Funny, violent, irreverent, and wickedly subversive, with a complex and well-written cast of heroes and villains, plus a whole lot of other characters in between, and a story that brutally skewered everything from fake corporate activism to our obsession with celebrity culture, media manipulation, and cultural warfare. It was really everything you could look for in a show.
You have to be the dumbest person to literally watch The Boys and be like, this is awesome. I'm a right-winger, and this is like speaking to all of my interests. I feel like it's like watching me. It's like watching me do commentary and being like, oh, he hates Nancy Pelosi. This guy's got some good ideas. And then like it finally registers in your mind that I abhor the Republican Party. And you're like, wait, whoa. Hold on now. Which, of course, history is riddled with this kind of expression going outside the targeted audience and having right-wingers not really understand it. This is precisely the reason why people thought Stephen Colbert was an unironic, funny right-winger. I repeat, Stephen Colbert, who is, you know, like my Hank Pecker character, okay, but you know, way before my time and expertly crafted. I'll hand him that. People thought he wasn't a parody, but a real right winger. Anyway,
show like this. I kinda checked out after season 3, partly because I was pretty burned out with superhero stories in general, even shows that subverted the genre, and partly because I could see the way The Boys was heading as a creative property.
Wait, he saw what? Like, he saw the Nicaragua operations and thought, no, dude, we had to do all of those things. How dare they make fun of them or something?
Complex, nuanced, and multifaceted characters were slowly morphing into simplified parodies of themselves. The central storyline was becoming trite and predictable, and the bitingly witty satire was becoming more overt and partisan with every season, parroting the same predictable talking points as every other Hollywood product. Basically, The Boys just wasn't cool or interesting anymore. It wasn't fighting the power, it was the power. It wasn't raging.
This is a classic right-wing approach. It wasn't raging against the machine. It became the machine, is what he's about to say. Which, again, incredibly ironic, because Rage Against the Machine always had those politics. You just personally, like a switch flicked in your mind, just like The Boys, much like Rage Against the Machine, have always had the same politics. They're just leftists, and I guess you're so hyper partisan that you can't enjoy a media product when it's not, when it's making fun of you. That's number one. And it doesn't cause you to go, wait, but I like a lot of this stuff. Maybe I should reconsider my worldview. That should be the normal way of consuming this kind of product, right? You should look at this and go, wait, why did I like so much of this, the politics of season 1? And then by season 3, I was like, I don't really like the politics anymore. Perhaps it has something to do with like the way I see the world. No, not at all.
Against the machine, it was part of it. What was once rebellious, subversive, and irreverent had become just another mouthpiece for the safe, corporatized, hollow, and performative activism that it once so brutally mocked. So
all of the good shit from season 1 is expanded on in season 2 and 3. So I think he's completely wrong on that. He just started realizing that it was making fun of him, which, probably doesn't feel good. That's a moment where you are supposed to go, wait, but I like all this stuff and I agree with all this stuff. Maybe I should really reconsider the way I see the world. But no, I would not do that. That would require self-reflection. Yeah, Save Corporatized is also insane because there's a superhero orgy in season 3. I think one of the seasons literally starts off with a dude who explodes another dude's dick because he accidentally sneezes. He has the power to become small, and and the other guy's like, oh, go inside of my hole and rub my, which he does. And then while he's in there, he's on coke and he sneezes, and then his dick explodes. Or he explodes his entire body, which is like, I don't think that's like safe, nor is it, corporate.
So I wasn't exactly brimming with excitement at the prospect of sacrificing another 8 hours of my increasingly limited lifespan for the new season. Frankly, I've got better things to do with my time. But hey, maybe they managed to turn things around. I mean, Stranger Things was drinking at the Last Chance Saloon for me after a disastrously bad season 3, only for the showrunners to listen to fan complaints and come back with an absolute banger of season 4. Maybe we'd actually...
I have not watched Stranger Things after season 1, so I can't speak on that.
Get something similar here. So it was off to Rotten Tomatoes for me to check out the reviews. Not the critic reviews, of course, because nobody in their right mind gives a shit what those...
But yeah, no, I think that I do agree that I think The Boys and what made The Boys great, and what made it fun, I think kind of lost its... I thought season 3 was worse than season 2, and I thought season 2 was worse than season 1. I'll still watch it, but the very fact that season 4 has come out and I still have not watched it, to me, in my mind at least, I feel like it, people are saying it's good, but mid take, it's all been good. No, I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good overall, but season 1 was a banger. And I hope this season 4 will be will bring it back. It did lose a little bit of its novelty, and I think some of the stuff was just like a little bit repetitive maybe. But anyway, let's continue.
Shields have got to say about anything anymore. I'm talking about the audience reviews, which is the only semi-reliable barometer for quality these days, and
yeah, audience reviews are not the barometer for quality. It used to be. I don't think they are anymore because they get consistently review bombed, like Elden Ring. Okay? Elden Ring, the Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC, got phenomenal reviews early on, was obviously like acknowledged as one of the greatest DLC expansions of all time by critics. And then it got review bombed because people were like, oh, it's too hard. So no. Unfortunately, here is yet another aspect of the internet that has been absolutely destroyed. Okay? Back in the day, you could make a genuine assessment off of like critic reviews. Nowadays, it's just susceptible to the same whims of everything else online. Brigading. It's so annoying.
I mean, the audience scores had been gradually declining from an all-time high of 90% in Season 1 to 75% by Season 3, but that's kind of in line with most shows, to be fair. But there's no denying that Season 4 absolutely fell off a cliff. Good lord, I don't think I've seen a fan base turn so hard on any show since Game of Thrones. Look through the reviews and you'll see page after page of absolutely brutal.
Poor writing, forced introduction, new week storylines, boring, not light enough like the first season. I like action, not make me laugh too.
Basically this.
Wow, what incredible reviews, man. While previous seasons would take a jab at both sides of the aisle, creating a more neutral and unbiased view of society. Oh, God. Dude, I'm sorry. Conservatives are officially... Conservatives have always been massive crybabies. They're officially significantly bigger crybabies than the SJWs that they used to yell about. Okay, it's done. It's done. It is. They have been for a while, but this solidifies it. Like anything that even lightly takes a jab at conservatives, when they recognize it, they just get so mad. You are literally a liberal at the end of the day. Everyone is a liberal. Liberals, all of you.
The same thing. The general consensus is that the show seems to have sacrificed writing quality and smart characters.
The fourth season just seems mean so far, and it's very boring, not entertaining at all. Even Homelander and Butcher cannot save this one as they usually do. Mean? That's your criticism? Mean? That it's mean? When has it not been mean? How can you present yourself as this like edgy nihilist? But then type like a Barbara and you know, send a review note.
Characterization in favor of simplistic shock value and cheap political point scoring.
Unlike other episodes, the show reflects all lefties who see anyone right of their view as Hitler. The show is also getting... There is literally Hitler in the show. It's like last season. Last season, there was a person who was alive when Hitler was alive. On the show, she was a villain. Okay, yeah, let's just show this.
And alleged Nazi ties. Stormfront may be 100 years old. What's even more incredible, we have authenticated photos showing Stormfront with Nazi high command, including Goebbels and Goering. Based on the photos, it is now believed that she was the wife of Frederick Vaught, who was, of course, the founder of Vaught International.
Like, even this... Like Frederick Vaught being a Nazi scientist and then playing a former military-industrial complex. Like, what the are they thinking? It's not even... Like, none of this is subtle. What is subtle is what I just mentioned, right? But the fact that she's a Nazi is not subtle at all. What is actually subtle, and it's like pointing to, is the fact that America, Operation Paperclip, moved a bunch of Nazi scientists and brought them to the United States of America to conduct investigations. Conduct scientific research. Like that's the subtle subtext, is that this is a real thing that happened in history and they're pointing to it.
Already an intense international outcry has emerged. understand.
I can't believe I actually have to say this day and age, but Nazis are bad.
Nazi stormfront, Hitler star, run her over with a car.
It's catchy.
Here he is.
For his
Here she
kind.
is talking about white.
Bad guys want to hurt us just because of what we look like. They want to wipe us from this earth just because of the color of our skin.
Really?
It's like when right wingers, especially far right, like alt right people, like when they watch this, or like the average Fox News watcher watches this and goes, "Oh, she's like a hero. Is that how this works?" I genuinely want to understand. I genuinely need to understand what goes on in the minds of like right wingers when they watch this. Is it just like a monkey playing the cymbals up there? Like, what's happening? What's going on? You're just watching this and like nothing sticks?
It's called white side.
Nazi stormfront.
It's also just a full misunderstanding. The liberalism is conservative. Like, this show comes from a further left perspective than American liberalism. It makes fun of conservatives in general. Exactly. That's part of the reason why I like it. But I just find it really odd. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway.
In short, the writers have become more interested in getting their own personal ideology across and owning the chuds, rather than actually telling a good story. And well, that sort of strategy never really pays off. Naturally, I was curious to get the other side of the story, so I took a look at a recent interview with showrunner Eric Kripke in The Hollywood Reporter, and he had this to say about accusations that the show had become too partisan. I clearly have a perspective, and I'm not shy about putting that perspective in the show. Anyone who wants to call the show woke or whatever, that's okay. Go watch something else. But I'm certainly not.
If this was a show made by a right winger and he said this, okay, like, I think the critical drinker would have to not be able to. The critical drinker would probably not make a video for a month because he would just lay fat ropes specifically to that statement. Okay, he would be rendered incapable of making the incredible YouTube content that he makes. You know, phenomenal stuff.
Not going to pull any punches or apologise for what we're doing. Some people who watch it think Homelander is the hero. What do you say to that? The show's many things. Subtle isn't one of them.
Yeah.
So if that's the message you're getting from it, I just throw up my hands. You know, why do I feel like this is rapidly becoming a tale as old as time? A show gets popular and goes mainstream, the writers get a little too overconfident and think they can use it as a platform for their own personal hang-ups, the fans start to push back against them, and instead of taking that criticism on...
The funniest part about this is that, like, no, dog, the show had those politics from the first second. Like, you just didn't understand it. And now you're mad because you feel betrayed. It's like, what can someone do about that? Like, do you demand an apology? Do you want them to change course completely to suit your interests? No, dog, that it's you. That's a you problem. You didn't understand the politics from day one. It's so odd.
Bored and responding in a constructive manner, they just say, "Fuck it, go watch something else, you dicks." Kinda reminds me of this idiot who did her level best to tank the American comic book industry and then had the balls to berate her own customers for not loving what she was doing.
And if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book.
Right, well, that's me told. You girls enjoy yourself.
It's the entertainment equivalent of that asshole kid who takes his ball and flounces off home because everyone else won't play the game the way he wants them to. It's this weird narcissistic sense of entitlement amongst creatives these days that everyone should just unconditionally support and agree with you because you're such a paragon of wisdom that there's no possibility you could ever be wrong about anything. The problem, Eric, is that other people don't always think exactly the same way we do. They don't always share our beliefs, parrot our opinions, mirror our viewpoints on every topic, and
dude, you're literally crying about a show that is doing just that. Dude, conservatives are so stupid. I swear to God, you literally have to get hit with a blunt object multiple times in order to become a conservative. No, it's just, there's no way. I mean, John Fetterman, great example, right? Literally has a stroke and becomes a conservative. You have to get a stroke to become a conservative. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. Sure, he can't read text or subtext. He has no media literacy whatsoever. That's one thing, right? I don't want to be ableist there. But having said that, how do you not recognize that this 30-second sequence of commentary completely destroys the entire purpose of this video? Like, you're doubly wrong. You're doubly wrong. Not only are you wrong about the direction of the show, but you're also still wrong. You're wrong for being like, oh, not everyone has your same opinions. Stop trying to like hammer politics into everything or a different viewpoint into everything. It's like, but you're doing that. You're demanding that. You're demanding that off of a misunderstanding from the jump, but still, you are literally demanding that and crying that the show is demonstrating a different viewpoint than the one you like.
Beliefs, parrot our opinions, mirror our viewpoints on every topic, and that's okay because people are allowed to have different points of view. A smart, humble,
unless you're a left-wing content creator,
and creative writer finds ways to bridge the gap between all these different groups through the unifying concept of good storytelling. A bad writer, on the other hand, tries to hammer home his opinions on his audience with sheer brute force, and then gets angry and resentful when they push back against it. I'll let you decide which one you used to be and which one you are now. Also,
it's also weird because it's like, bro, if you don't like it, don't watch is a pretty normal thing to say, especially when you feel like the show is solid enough on its own. So this makes no sense. He's like crying that that comic book woman, I don't know anything about her, and the guy who made The Boys are both not catering to his worldview and making a mockery of his worldview, and then literally saying, yeah, don't watch it if you don't want to. It's fine. Like, he's upset. He's upset that he's not being catered to. This is the entire video. This is the entire gripe. Do people not understand this? What is going on?
It's interesting watching the discourse around The Boys on social media, which I can best summarise as, The Boys used to be smart and fun, now it's all about pushing politics and nothing else. Cry harder, chuds. Don't you know this show was always making fun of people like you?
Yeah, but those are the people who... Yeah. Not only is it pretty obvious from the jump. Not only is that pretty obvious from the jump, but like the thing I don't understand is like when the creator of a product comes out and makes a statement about like what the intention is behind the artistic expression that you are consuming. Who goes, oh, fuck that. Like, I hate this guy. You need to change this now.
Sheer hubris.
Okay, let's get this over with. Yes, most people with functioning brain cells knew exactly what this show was and where its political sympathies lay. Nobody in their right mind looked at Homelander as a misunderstood hero that represented the voice of the masses. Nobody looked at Stormfront and thought, you know what, she's got a point there. Nobody clapped and cheered when the Deep forced himself on Starlight, and it's complete gaslighting to suggest otherwise. The show was never particularly subtle about its politics or what it expected its audience to take from it. The difference though is that for the first couple of seasons at least, it was actually fun and entertaining because the creative focus was still on the story and characters. And believe it or not, people can be surprisingly receptive to your political ideas when they're smartly presented and wrapped up inside an entertaining product. People can empathise with characters that embody ideas they don't normally support, as long as those characters are well written and likeable. People are even capable of laughing at themselves when you point out the more absurd or extreme elements of their worldview, provided you do it in a way that's actually funny and insightful. In each of these cases though, the primary focus should always be on entertaining your audience.
Okay, I can't believe he's wrapping it up with a statement that I agree with unironically. It's something that I say all the time. It's like, who gives a about the politics of any kind of thing, as long as it makes you laugh, as long as it makes you think, as long as it makes you like enjoy it genuinely. If you make a consumable product, like, I don't give a shit. Obviously, in a lot of circumstances, they ham up the liberalism or will just like recycle IP or juggle it and turn around and just like slap some liberalism onto it and leave it at that. And they go, here, this is the new shit. Okay. It's the same as the old shit. Maybe the shit that you enjoyed, maybe you didn't even enjoy it back then, but like now it's a little bit different. And that is annoying. I definitely don't like that, except the problem in this circumstance is that he didn't mention any of those things. His 8-minute video featured him crying for 6 minutes about the politics of the show. He cried about the politics of the show without like saying, here's what sucks about the show. Here's what changed about the show. With the exception of, I'm just mentioning politics of the show and they become more apparent by season 4. And I hate that.